Roblox Murder Mysteries are the most boring, terrible, time-consuming games I've ever played. I don't say this because I'm not familiar with them. I've been playing them ever since the genre became popular on Roblox in early 2014. These games have been dominating the front page for over 4 years. So at this point, murder mystery games are at the same level as freaking World War I. It's a good comparison too, because these games are just as bloody, terrible, and repetitive. But enough of this analogy. Let's get right into the 3 main reasons why these games are so awful. The main problem with murder mysteries is the amount of waiting. 90% of the time you will be an innocent. Being an innocent is an extremely boring role. You spend most of your time walking around and waiting for someone to kill you. Maybe you get a shot at the gun, but probably not. Murder Mystery 2 attempts to compensate for this with the addition of coins, but this entertainment only lasts until you filled up your sack. You will probably find yourself browsing the internet before the end of the round. When you're not innocent, you're either the murderer or the sheriff. These are the only 2 parts of the game that are even remotely interesting. Being the murderer is a fun and tactical experience that would make a great standalone game. Being the sheriff is less interesting, but it still has its rewards. Unfortunately, you spend less than 10% of your time in the game in these roles. Most of your time is spent watching your percentage slowly going up until you get your 2 minutes of fun. Then you're back to 3%, and you're in for another boring 45 minutes. Number 2, murderer not mystery. A second major issue I have with the genre is the lack of any mystery. Think of your typical murder mystery movie. The characters are introduced and the audience will spend the film trying to guess who the murderer is. Murder mystery games have none of this. The murderer will pull out their knife and go on a rampage. Most of the time everyone knows who the murderer is and it becomes entirely about combat. The sheriff will probably already be dead and their gun hidden away in some extremely remote place. Or maybe they're just an idiot. Very rarely is there any mystery involved. Number 3, shop stuff. A few years ago, game creators realized that murder mysteries didn't have any overarching goals, so they made one. Let's talk about boxes. Using crates with skins in them is an idea that is neither original or effective. Nobody cares what skin your knife has, even if you obnoxiously glue it to the back of every character. The skins don't even look that good. The original skins are better than almost every one of these cheap knockoffs. Skins are not the only items available in the shop. There's also an abundance of other useless items. Toys are annoying and have no real purpose. Emotes are already built into Roblox. The only people who use radios are 7-year-old gangsters playing Despacito on repeat for the entire game. There's only one decent part of the shop, and that's the perks section. Perks are actually relevant to the game because they enhance your abilities as murderer. You're not just a useless piece of virtual pizza. I could go on for a very long time about the flaws of these games. Social media promotion, terrible maps, the naming style, the small lobbies. But there's also some good parts of the games that shouldn't go unmentioned. The knife sound is surprisingly satisfying. Twisted Murder and some other murder games have been able to deliver some pretty interesting special rounds. The coin system is cool while it lasts. I can finally share my SoundCloud raps with the world. Even including these perks, murder games are still unenjoyable and bland. I give the genre a 4 out of 10 overall, with some variation game to game. Overall, I'm glad murder games are on their way out, and I'm excited to see what's next for Oh no.